AskReddit by Emergency Advanced 65. What is one thing that we are using a lot that will become scarce in the next 5 to 10 years? We consume more chocolate and coffee than we are able to grow it. Meaning, less cocoa as ingredients in a chocolate bar and more questionable ingredients. Another serious farming and sustainability topic. Chocolate and coffee might get more expensive. Soil. https://www.bbc.com/future/follow-the-food/white-soil-is-farms/closed bracket This is the one that people just don't grasp. They see dirt everywhere, so they don't grasp the difference between quality topsoil and dirt. This is the premise for Interstellar. Crops may still grow in certain locatoints, but they don't provide nutrients and are empty calories. Privacy, on and offline. Tracking is getting out of hand. I think the definition of privacy will evolve. It's already very different than what it was 200 years ago. Deleted. Phosphorus is finite. Rock phosphate is too scarce and a few countries control the world's supply. Sewage and manure recycling for phosphate for fertilizer will become a huge necessity. Strangely, Googling where you get good answers. The advance of AI means that the default answers are getting worse and worse. I wish I had my fingers on the article that describes this phenomenon because it's a real problem. It's nearly impossible to stop, and telling people hey just Google it won't work nearly as well in the years to come. I've had much better luck with Bing lately. Google dips so hard and shows nothing but irrelevant results or video results at this point. And that's not even mentioning ads or pushing useless features like hum to find a song in completely irrelevant searches. AI-generated articles and SEO has made it significantly harder to find any in just the past year alone. Reddit is full of misinformation and bots, but at least there's real people here, so you can usually find the answers you need if other people actually help instead of saying just Google it. Props to OP for continually asking the follow-up question of why do you think that, so this thread isn't just a long list of single word answers with no explanation like so many other threads. Why do you think that? Seafood. Massive tragedy of the common situation. Huge portions of the world's seafood catches are being done illegally, and even the legal catches are unsustainable. Massive factory ships that process hauls out in the remote waters thousands of miles from home ports, allowing fishing trawlers staffed with slave labor to stay at sea for months or even a year at a time. Then of course, climate change is heating our oceans, so aquatic life experiences die-offs, like the billion crabs off Alaska last year, and acidifying seawater, so plankton, which makes oxygen and feed the food chain, have difficulty surviving. Plastics are affecting life forms and reproduction, etc. The Bay of Bengal is essentially a dead zone. Bangladeshi and Indian fishermen have plundered it for decades. Sand for construction purposes. Also an interesting one. I read somewhere that plastic is also being introduced in the construction. Clean water will start to become more scarce in some places, while flooding will be a lot more common in other places. Those issues are already an issue now, to be honest. Floods and droughts can even happen in the same regions. The ground can only store so much water, so when it floods it gets saturated, but everything more will just go down the river. A long time without rain will still be enough to deplete the storage. A lot of fish. The oceans will be even more fucked and few people seem to care. Hell, China is doing their best to make the problem worse. High paying, white collar jobs. I definitely don't need 4 different bosses. What people don't realize, and what I think companies are coming to grieve, is that a huge chunk of white collar work is worthless. It's jobs for the sake of jobs. Inefficiency and extra steps for the sake of business. How many companies are glorified middlemen? How many people at the company directly produce value? How many industries only exist because of inertia? Coffee. If the rate of coffee prices go up while being harder to grow continues, it's going to be a rich person thing in the next decade or so. So, what I'm hearing is buy coffee stocks. Edit. Apparently it's futures, not stocks, till. Reddit. Seriously, I've been doing this sort of message board chat discussion since the internet started. I had fierce arguments about AOL boards, The Motley Fool, MySpace, Quora. What we do here, the discussion will always happen. But the platforms are all temporary and fleeting. Judging by all the Facebook level posts we're starting to see on here, it's probably sooner than you think. Lightning charging cables. Just upgraded to 15 from a 12 and it wasn't till then that realized I have literally dozens of lightning cables that I've accrued over the years. No idea what to do with them. Maybe some lightning to C adapters? White collar jobs. We started seeing a decrease with the offshoring of manufacturing, but that was fortunately offset by the rise of tech. Now tech is in a stable enough place that the number of jobs needed has stabilized. In addition, offshoring is increasing again for more white collar jobs as companies look to cut costs to maintain the profit growth they had during the pandemic. Most job growth today is coming from blue collar jobs, delivery drivers, ridishers, restaurant workers, handyman, etc. I think another part is that nobody wants to manage anymore. We just want to go to work, get paid and go home. We don't want the added stress of making sure people are doing their jobs and having higher ups breath down on us for not pushing more and more. Food that has actual nutrition. They say that a typical banana today has about a fourth of the actual vitamins, minerals and caloric energy as one from the 1950s. That's also because the breed of bananas eaten in the 50s died out due to parasites. ALS was replaced with a different strain. Classic car part websites. I think it'll be the opposite. Selective laser melting is a pretty ripe technology and can be used to reproduce classic car parts that are no longer available. I'm 76. My brain. Time. Don't waste any of it. Even billionaires can't turn the clock back. Skilled trade workers. The average age of skilled tradesmen is 55 years old in the USA, and young people aren't taking an interest. These are the people who build the infrastructure: electricians, machinists, construction workers, plumbers, etc. With very few young people learning these skills, and the majority of the current workforce nearing retirement, it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. There will be a lot of people moving to trade jobs as other industries get automated, such as customer service, retail, manufacturing and driving. Water. Last 100 years people who invested in oil have become rich. The next 100 years those that invest in clean water will be the heralds of wealth. It's not reflected in investment today. Water stocks are junk and very illiquid. Democracy. There's a recent trend of democracies around the world shifting towards autocracy due to corruption, widening wealth disparity, and misinformation campaigns. Fascism is on the rise. Waitstaff. The entire profession is just one that tech will eliminate. You order from a screen now. We'll let you know when it's ready and you can get it yourself. This will save restaurants money and effort. It'll be sold as exciting in the way of the future. Introverts will cheer as less human interaction is required. The end of tipping culture, they'll brand it. And an entry-level career that has been a staple for women, young people, and immigrants will be gone. You'll have to go to an old-fashioned themed diner to find one. I'm really gonna miss a good waitress/waiter. Oh, and if you doubt me, drop a reply. Once you're done ringing up your own groceries and bagging your food, of course. The iPad you order from will 100% still ask you for a tip. A few things. lithium and rees, fish in the ocean, peat moss, cobbled programmers, fresh water, with some localized exceptions, physical credit cards and such. I mean, we'll probably just more and more use phones to pay or show identification if you don't already do that personally. Also, physical keys belong in this category, albeit it will take much longer because door locks aren't that easily electrified. I will refuse anything attack lock to my phone for as long as I can. What if the battery runs out? Or a child nephew grabs it in an unprotected moment and locks it? That's also why I always carry cash too.